We are super excited to welcome one of Canada's most recording, or important, I would say, recording artists, not to mention storytellers, Jessie Reyez. She's got an album out, Paid in Memories, and of course, an author as well with her poetry book, The People's Purge. Jessie, thanks so much for spending time with us on the show.
Hello, thanks for having me.
So, a couple of questions I want to start off with. In the fact that you have had such a busy year, so Paid in Memories comes out in the spring, then the book comes out in the fall. You've been out on tour. How would Jessie Reyez sum up the year so far?
Go, go, go.
Hasn't stopped.
Yeah, yeah. And thank God for ginger shots and green juices and green smoothies and prayer, because I'd be screwed without it.
Will you take a break after the tour is done? Will you go to Toronto and chill out?
I'm gonna take a second and be a human being and just,
Okay,
yeah, take a moment.
solid.
Um,
I wanted to ask you, when it comes to the album, when did that creative process start for you, and how was like putting the whole album together? Like, was there a lot of challenging times, or was it fairly easy for you to get it done?
I've never stopped working. So when my last album was done, like I went into the studio. I just never stopped. I don't work that way. I kind of just always create.
Hmm.
And honestly, even when Pain and Memories released, the day that it released, the night it released, I was in the studio as well. So Pain and Memories was made the same way. It's just been a constant window into whatever it is that I'm going through in my life, and just a summary of that, like picking like there's a song from January, there's a song from March, there's a song from December of last year. Uh, that's kind of been the process that hasn't changed. The only thing, and I've always just let truth kind of be my compass. The only thing that's changed is I've never loved doing sequencing, and I've never loved choosing the songs because it always feels like you're choosing your favorite kid, and then that means that some of your kids are dying, and then it's just bloody mess on the cutting room floor. So I don't love that, but I've leaned into my team more for doing sequencing and song selection, which is nice. I love delegating. Delegating is something I learned later in my career, but I love it.
Amazing. When you are though sequencing the album, are you trying to tell a story or to have some kind of flow from the beginning to the end?
I used to. Now it's a bit. I used to because it's two opposing things. You either got to think of like, okay, the way that someone's going to receive it, or you got to think of it strategically and be like, well, if it's someone that's never heard of my, they're just hearing my songs for the first time, am I going to make them wait until the fourth song or fifth song to hear something that I think is the meat of the project, or to hear something that I think is like that can grip them, you
Hmm.
know? So what takes precedence, the narrative of the project, or the strategy of what's going to grip them first, and then finding a line between that. Because if I was a purist, it wouldn't matter. If I was a purist and I was just strictly art, then it would be like, whatever, man, it's the project, and it's that takes precedence. But because I'm also part businesswoman, I'm not gonna not take an opportunity to like hit strongest first so that kid carry it.
Is it hard for you, Jesse, to separate yourself from being the artist and having to be the businesswoman? Because I know sometimes for certain artists, like they really just want to concentrate on that and not be bothered with everything else, but that's a dangerous place to be, I think.
It is, I agree with you. It is a dangerous place to be. I learned who I was early on. That I especially because like I didn't grow up with money, and so when it started happening, started moving, even that was a dance in and of itself that I had to learn to like to be more open to success and comfortable with success. And that I think is that could be a pitfall for a lot of people because they don't know how to move with it. But because I resolved that, I was like, okay, I would say I'm 51. I say 50 to be like to give myself some credit, but maybe 51% business and 49% art. Yeah.
When
And
you
sorry,
pick
your question was, do I find it hard? Yeah, a little difficult, but I figure it out.
when you pick a single, for example, like here on Virgin, we were playing NYB a lot. Love that song.
Thank you.
Do you love picking the single, or is it hard? And do you pick the one that you have a feeling is gonna go?
I wish y'all were playing Couldn't Be Me more than New York Baby, if we're being serious. Because as much as we think, or as much as whoever might, no one could tell the future. We had so much, so much um content and videos and stuff for certain songs that we thought would go. And then when we released the album, it's not like Couldn't Be Me was set to be one of the singles, and that's a song that kind of took off and that helped get the project moving, you know? And then there are certain people that are like, oh, I like this one better, or certain stations or groups or labels or whatever that like this one better or that one better, but you can't hide the metrics when it's just the people and people that are like, yeah, the album's lit, but this is the song that we want to champion. And
Mhm.
that yeah, you could guess as much as you want. You could guess as much as you want, but the world's gonna tell you what it loves.
What is more fun for you, putting out like these singles that are yours alone or doing like your collabs that you do, which are fantastic? You seem to have a thing with Calvin because Ocean has been doing very well. So
Mhm.
what's that like?
It's cool. I like it. I I I prefer to work alone unless I really f with the person I'm working with. I love Calvin. Calvin's great, and I've worked with him for years, so obviously I love working with him. But I'm in general I'm not a big fan of a lot of cooks in the kitchen. But Calvin can cook, so he's welcome in my kitchen, and I'm welcome in his.
And you worked, fairly often in the past with Eminem. What is the secret sauce with him? Like why you keep going back there?
Man, because I'm lucky, because I'm fortunate, because I'm lucky that he liked my stuff and that his daughter liked my stuff and helped move that forward. Um, yeah, man. I was honestly the one song I was already jaw on the floor, and then when it turned into two songs, and then when it turned into three songs, I honored, honored.
I was going through your social media to prepare for this, and I saw a post that you put out like a little while ago, but not too long ago, where you had been doing your a poetry book tour, and
Mhm.
you'd put in the post that like you felt this was really heavy, and you don't think you'll do that again. Can you
Yeah,
explain the difference between being out on your poetry book tour and doing it that way, as opposed to being on stage with your lyrics?
yeah, sure. There's two things in the industry that I love that I feel like I've been really fortunate enough to maintain purity and freedom. Purity and it feels like an exhale. And that's being in the studio when it's just like the most because I think that's the crux, that's the magic. That's when you're taking something that's unmanifested and you're literally pulling from the air or being gifted things from the air and then manifesting in the moment. Making something that didn't exist an hour ago all of a sudden exists in the world now. That's so beautiful. And the second is live performance because it's so in the moment, like you have to be in the moment and everyone's in the moment and you're co-creating reality and it's beautiful. The book tour, the way it was broken down was like first half hour was a reading, so performance, so that kind of falls into the umbrella of the live performance that I love. But then the second half was Q&A, and it was cool, but it was heavy because I'm sensitive and I'm emotional and I'm sober. So even in moments like this where you would require the average person would require some sort of elixir to help accelerate the level of intimacy required to reach someone's innermost secrets in a span of 10 seconds or 50 seconds or however long it takes someone to like articulate their question or articulate their message. One on one, it's still difficult for the average individual to surpass that level of or to permeate that level of intimacy with a stranger that quickly. And I'm capable. But when it's me in a room of 300, 500, 600, and everyone's and then suppose I'm doing like I don't know 20 or 30, that's 20 or 30 accelerated little microcosms of intimacy, and it's and my heart is this big, so and it's already full with my with my own, and because I'm so sensitive, I'm not closed off for when someone's telling me that story, some story or something that resonated or something that happened. It's beautiful because it feels like it gives me purpose that I was able to contribute something to someone's life. But it's also not easy because now I'm holding space. And it'd be different if I was holding space for one, but now I'm holding space for you. And I'm holding space for you. And I'm holding space for you. And it's all at once. And also it's not even, you don't even get, there's not even, because it was I think that's what kind of threw me over the edge because it was so condensed. It was the American leg of the tour, and then I was supposed to get a break, and then it was the Euro leg and the African leg, and then the Canadian leg. But the break turned into the book tour, and then it's not a you don't it's not a tour bus. There's like it's a different city, every day, flight city, and then because I'm so sensitive would end up crying at
Oh.
all of these, because it would just because you just it's like the Avatar scene when they connect to and you just you're meshed. It was that 20 times over every day for this many weeks. So my heart was tired. My heart was tired. Yeah, so I think that's a wrap on those. I don't think I'm doing those no more.
Can you talk a little bit about, because I was also again on your social media and there's clips of you where you're singing to the audience and then the camera pans to your fans and they are like passionately singing your lyrics back to you. What is that like to take that in? And like how do you even come down off of that after? I don't even know.
It's sick. Maybe it makes it easier because when it's that way, it's almost like a reflection of pain that already looks like mine, so it's easier to hold space. But even still, like there's something, it's such a ironic little moment of it's such a moment of intense irony because there's songs that I've written from such sad places. And if I were to close my eyes and I'm going through it, it's like opening a suitcase with still there's raw meat and it's still bleeding in there, right? And then when I hear it echoed and I open my eyes and I see people screaming back these lyrics that obviously have found homes in their hearts and decorate their memories and are attached to the chapters of their lives, and then they're crying. It's a different, it's, I don't, it's, I wish I could articulate, or maybe I got to give it some thought as to why that accelerated moment is easier to hold than when it's spoken. But I guess that's just because because my world is music. I just feel more fluid in music. So it's maybe that's why I got to give it some thought. It's beautiful. But it's interesting that that is easier to hold than the other.
When you come off tour and you're not, in that live environment where you are getting that amount of love and connection back, um, is that a peaceful place for you, or is it hard to readjust coming off the road?
The thing that's the most difficult to readjust is losing whatever rhythm I've found. But then once I find rhythm on when I'm home, I'm okay. It's not something that like because I know some people get rocked. I saw a post on Instagram the other day because they were talking about how a lot of musicians deal with like post-tour depression because of there's such an influx of energy and then but no, luckily that's not a cross that I've had to bear.
Amazing. Now I have to ask you about this. You being Canadian and the fact that you're loved the world over. What's the most Canadian thing about you?
My love for an ice cap. Mm-hmm. I will what? Oh, yeah. My love for an ice cap. And like I have just different go-to orders at Timmy's. It just depends on the mood, but there's like staples, like a medium ice cap with the top of whipped cream or like 10-pack Timbits with none of that birthday cake because I don't like that one. Oh my God, a plain bagel. Oh, a toasted plain bagel with some cream cheese, a tomato, and a little bit of pepper. That, yeah, yeah. I
Okay,
think
that's
that's
solid. I know when I interviewed you back in 2018, we talked about the fact, obviously, you're from Toronto, but you have so many Montreal fans. What's the best thing about Montreal for you?
Oh man, I can't remember the name, but there's this spot in the summer. I had an ex that was from Montreal, and we used like in the summertime we'd be near the water where that big ride is.
Yep, in the old port.
Yeah, in Oldport. Yeah. And there was this thing that I hadn't had since I was a kid, but I just had it there, and I think it just painted a memory for me that every time I go there I want to do it. But it's like the like when they have ice cream and then it's the slushy, the red slushy
Oh yeah,
around.
yeah, that's called a Mont Blanc.
Mont Blanc. Do I say j'aime le Mont Blanc?
Yeah, that's perfect.
J'aime le Mont Blanc. Beaucoup.
Great.
Merci.
I just have a couple of quick questions for your some fans to get to know you better. If you could switch places with another artist or producer for one day, just to see what their life is like, who would that be and why?
Jasmine Sullivan, but not so much to see what her life is like, but to see what it's like to hold that sort of talent at my fingertips. And I wouldn't shut up all day. If I had 24 hours, I'd probably be singing for 23.
Okay. What three albums can Jessie Reyez not live without?
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Mm, Channel Orange. Mm, ooh, oh, what a question. and paid in memories.
Okay, that's good. I love that. If you could be in a group text with any girl group or boy band, who would that be?
Girl group or boy band?
Yeah,
What a question. Spice Girls.
perfect. You know, a lot of people choose the Spice Girls, which I love. I think that's amazing.
Really?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I've had some other, I think Alessia Cara actually chose that also when I,
No way.
yeah,
Interesting. Yeah,
yeah.
Spice Girls. Spice Girls or Blackpink, and both because I would just be rinsing them for advice, rinsing them for thoughts and what their experiences have been like and what they would suggest and what they wouldn't suggest.
Is there a Canadian artist in top 40 land that you would love to collaborate with, like an Alessia Cara, let's say?
Yeah, Alessia, I love. Drake and me are overdue, so that boy.
Trying to get things going. And if you know, this past year, a lot of people have been, you know, doing these space flights. And I want, you know, Katy Perry went up and all that kind of stuff. What other, like, if Jessie Reyez was on a flight crew, what three other artists would be with her?
What three other artists? Jid, because that's my guy. Um, Kehlani and Raheem.
Perfect. And last question, can you give a little message to your Montreal fans?
J'aime le Mont Blanc, j'aime Montréal, et je suis très, how do I say excited again?
Excité.
Excitée de chanteur.
You did
Fuck.
the chanter. Yep.
De chanter à
Yeah.
ton belle city.
Perfect.
No, not perfect. How do I say city?
Oh, yeah, city is la ville.
Say it again?
La ville.
La ville, la ville. Ouais,
Yeah. So
ouais,
that means the town or the city. Yeah.
ouais, ouais.
You're a rock star. I really appreciate having the chance to speak with you, and we can't wait to have you here in Montreal. So thank you for everything.
Thank you. I'm stoked. Hope I see you at the show.
I will be there.